Daddy's home.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Ministry Podcast, where we practice what we preach. On today's episode, we're going to do something a little bit different here. You see, I bought this plant a while back, and it needs repotting. And while I was thinking about doing this, I had this sort of epiphany for an episode that would be ideal in regards of speaking about connections and nature and how everything sort of works together to help everything grow, not just in nature, but as a community, as a human community. And, well, I wanted to start off by talking about the different ways that plants communicate to each other. Take mycelium, for example. Let's go ahead and start doing away with this soil as we're talking about this. So one of the things that made me start thinking about this is I had little mushrooms starting to sprout on the edge of the soil here. And I realized that some of the soil that I had actually put in here was not ideal for my plant. See, look at this. Where did this come from? I got a piece of glass in here. And I needed to rethink my strategy to help this plant thrive. So, the mushrooms were growing in the soil, reminded me of mycelium, which is the fungal network that in nature provides a source of communication in between trees, plants, different various forms of fungi, all these different things, all these different forms. And basically what it is a fungal network underneath our feet that creates sort of like a telephone line in between plants and trees, and allows them to talk to each other and take care of each other. Basically, there's an entire underground network that we don't even see that allows for nature to heal itself and signal to different areas where there might be a problem that needs to be solving, like pests or a distressful situation involving new growth. So the mycelium network allows for plants to communicate to each other, to divert energy, to help the community grow. And the interesting thing about that is that there's been all kinds of studies that show how integrated this network is and how fungus communicates with its own kind, with its own language. Actually, I'm going to put up a study about that on the screen right here. Is right here. Check this out. There was an experiment they did in England at a university, I believe, where they found that fungus can communicate with each other using up to 50 words of their own sort of vocabulary. They use electricity and energy to figure out that they had their own language, pretty much. And I think that's fascinating, because it means not only are these fungus and plants sentient in nature, they have literally their own vocabulary that they can communicate with. And that spans into the idea of the mycelium being sort of like a neural brain network underneath our feet that connects literally everything. I mean, everything. If you don't believe me, I'll put up this video right here. There's a couple years ago, I think, actually it was like not even a year ago, they used satellite imagery to detect photosynthesis patterns in plants on a global scale. And what they found was very, very interesting to me, actually, because they started to see this pattern of like a heartbeat around the earth, and you can literally see it breathe all together at once, all the plants and all the networks all at once, sort of like pulsating from this video image that they had gotten from the satellite picture. And it's very clear how connected everything is whenever you see this, because if you watch the video, it's like everything breathes almost. And anyone that's ever been on psychedelics around trees and plants and things know what I'm talking about. It's almost like you can see nature start to breathe. And it's very interesting that when you see it on a global scale, you start to realize that the vastness of how much everything works together in order to help the community, so to speak. The community being nature and plants and things like this. So back to plants and their sort of place in the world, in our lives. I think that as we connect more with nature, and nature connects more with us, a lot of our so-called problems that we realize weren't ever really problems. They were just things we needed to figure out how to deal with, sort of melt away. And yeah, like one could argue a problem is something you have to deal with. Yeah, we all have shit to deal with. But as I've been getting into taking care of these things and these plants, and I've given them names. This one is Frank. He is called Frank because Frank is a monstera, and I like the name Frank for a monstera because one of my favorite all-time fictional characters is Frankenstein. Frankenstein's monster. So, who wouldn't want a gigantic, monstrous plant named Frank, right? Because once this thing starts getting attached to this, and we nurture nature and allow it to grow and really stick its roots into the soil and gain all the nutrients it needs, these leaves are going to be freaking huge. They're going to be bigger than my face. And that's another thing we should consider. How nature's growth can mirror our own in ways that most people don't even really think about. Because honestly, how many of you have lived in a concrete bunker of an apartment before, where there's almost no room to really be alive? Now, how many of those people that are living in these small, tiny apartments and barely being able to afford to live, take time to go outside and connect. That's where houseplants come in. These houseplants, I believe, at least seems like exactly what it's been for me, has been something that has allowed me to forge these connections in my own way by having something alive that I can take care of. And yeah, you can get that with pets and things like that, but there's something about, you know, taking the time to prune and propagate, and you're watching the leaves sort of form and grow and thrive, and the pride that you have in being involved in nurturing something and watching it get big and massive and really grow and thrive. I have found that this has been something that has allowed me to connect with nature in a way that I never thought would happen when I was younger. Nah. But the more and more I look into it, the more and more it makes sense. You know? Using this as a way to look at yourself like a mirror, watching these things grow and prosper, and you give them too much light, they wilt. You give them too much water, they wilt. You give them not enough water, they die. You give them not enough light, they die. It's all about finding a balance, not just with plants, but with yourself too. So I'm going to take some time here now. I'm going to finish up this moss pole while you guys are checking out our first artist highlight. This guy is a friend of mine. His name is Davis. And he's doing some interesting things. Check out Davis. His solo project called Mary X. And he came over to my apartment and we sort of hung out and talked about his process. And, well, I'll just let you watch the video. Let's roll it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem, man. Sheena, I know you want to steal the spotlight.
See, we got.
Go on, go to bed.
And we got a quadruped and a couple bipeds in here.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Hyde Love, aka the Gore Pimp. I'm here with my boy Davis. He's the artist of this week's highlight. Davis, let's talk about your art, man. You got all kinds of stuff going on. You got several projects that you've been involved in over the years. This new project that you've been doing, I find, is really interesting.
Yeah.
Tell people about it.
Well, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll, first of all. But it becomes a beautiful habit and outlet, and I am thankful that I got to tour with my old band Fivehead for years, from like the mid 90s to early aughts, or about 10 years or so. And then my band Militant Babies playing drums. But my friend John Hunt, he's like, if you want to learn more guitar, just get a cheap acoustic, put it beside your bed, and just practice. And that turned into a more kind of expansive scenario, and it reminded me of what was always there, in a way, you know what I'm saying?
I've noticed that this one's missing a string. That's how do you work that into just your art? Like,
Well, this thing, like when we were at a job in Vermont, this was $30 from this old codger. I was like, I'll take it. And it's nylon and whatever, but I missed the string. So this is a guitar that I don't miss the other string, but I can tune it to an open scenario and use a slide if I want. And so it's an extra flair. And when I'm recording, it'll be like an extra flair if I want to add something like that. And I just brought it because $30 thing, it just needed a home.
That's what I like about you, Davis. This is the kind of guy that will just pick up any random thing and make something cool out of it. And I connect with that because I kind of try to do the same thing myself, but this guy's way better at it than I am.
Well,
Sheena.
A lot of years of practice with noise and improv stuff where I feel like blessed and lucky that I met a couple of good friends back in the day that was a piano player who played drums. I'm a drummer who played guitar, and my friend Victor was the amazing Victor. And we would just have it plugged in, and we'd just go. Didn't care about the key, didn't care about whatever. We would find our groove. And that taught me a lot about this freedom of music, man, where I think about Hendrix or something like that. No limits. That's that. So. And I love animals. And
she's the star of the show sometimes.
I feel like a little oh, you're getting rid of that little broken ukulele? I'll take it in. I'll do something with it because it wants to be played.
Yeah.
And that kind of thing. But yeah. So
Sheena, come on.
The solo stuff, I booked myself a show because I know a friend who does every Tuesday, and how you get better is if you book yourself a show, you have to practice. And there's a very humbling, beautiful learning experience. And the one thing about the only thing I really wanted to accomplish is to capture people's attention. I didn't want a lot of people talking all over me. If I started to hear that, I'll do something fucked up. Like, I'll make some noise, man. But it was really cool, and I know what I learned from that experience. And electric guitar, just forget about it. Like, the noise you can make with it. So, yeah, it's been a cool learning experience. And it's a never-ending learning experience.
What did you say the name of your solo project was?
Murray X.
Murray X.
Murray X.
Look out for Murray X, guys.
Watch out for Murray X. You have no idea what Murray X is going to do. And we're still discovering what Murray X is all about in real time. So that's the fun about this thing. Yeah, man.
So how about the process of your, first of all, what inspires you? And as you get inspired by that, how does it begin the process from taking that and putting it down onto a concrete piece of art?
Man, that's an interesting question because sometimes I feel like if you don't go through struggle in life, you're not really going to be a great artist. And to have that outlet to turn those emotions from struggle into a positive thing that can help somebody. You can't just talk to somebody about that stuff. The emotions, it's too much, man. You can go on and on and on and on about words, but when you sing or you put it to instrumentation, it becomes a whole different thing, and it can save people's lives. So because I did that, because in the bands that I played in, we had our sound, but the crooked eye, that improv stuff, is about ideas. And if you're thinking about like a friend, and I was thinking about a friend that passed away, and it's just like I just started playing. And it moved me a lot. And then I just go on with it. And I was able to share with friends to help them get over some stuff. And they thanked me a lot. And that's one of the most beautiful things ever. If you can share an idea that helped you through a tough time or something like that, if it touched people and they say thank you for it. So I've just been recording a bunch. Ideas mostly, and then I can go back to them though. Because the worst thing when you have an idea, it's gonna, if you don't, and then you work all night, you're gonna get home and you'll be like, it's gone, right? Sometimes, damn it, I wish I recorded it. But having fractured ribs, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't drum with my band. I could sit there with an acoustic and I could press record. And so I went down an awesome rabbit hole of just ideas.
Is that where Murray X kind of got started? Is after you broke your ribs?
Kind of, yes. Yes. And it's a funny story, I'll tell really quick, but when my mom got remarried to Charlie Garrow, I was like, if I'm going to be a Garrow, I'm going to be Murray Garrow. Well, my last name is Camo, which doesn't have an X on the end. I'm like, and my middle name will be X, so Murray X Garrow. So I was like, Murray X is a good name.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man.
I like it.
You can constantly reinvent yourself sometimes, if you want. Like David Bowie, man. Like Ziggy Stardust, man.
It's especially as a solo artist,
He could not do what he did as David Bowie. He had to invent Ziggy Stardust to do what he had to do. And that's amazing creative. Like, people like, what the hell's going on? And that's rock and roll, man.
Yeah, and I've always said it's great when you find a group of individuals that you can connect with as a band and write music together, but the freedom that you have as an independent individual artist, like a solo artist, is you can do anything you want.
Right.
And it's insane once you start kind of going down that hole of creativity for yourself.
Yes.
Purely because it makes you happy.
Yeah.
Sheena.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, guys.
She is in there.
She is so excited
This is a $30 guitar.
to have a guest here.
She just wants to be excited. She's like,
Go on.
Keep playing. But yeah. Any job that I have in this life, I've already told myself, if I injure myself, that I can't play music, because music, if you feel like you have that, it's kind of like you have a responsibility to continue to do it, because a lot of people are consumers of music and they don't understand the process. But if you are a producer of it and you can play, I just feel that it's like, keep playing, because that's very necessary. Everybody needs that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, I don't know. That's a good, you discover that about yourself. And then it kind of like, you ease back, man. And you're like, that's really what I want to do. And you connect with a lot of people that way, and you can share a lot of beauty with them. And it's up to them if they want to discover it or not, man.
Yeah, I totally get that.
It's out of your hands, but you do your job. You're like, hey, do you know how long it took me to do this one song to get it to your ear? And some people don't understand the whole process, man.
And I was talking to this, the last artist I interviewed for the highlight series that we do.
Yeah.
We were talking about just this topic, how sometimes it, like, even your closest friends, it could be the most difficult thing to just get them to listen to what you're doing, because it's almost as if your friends don't want to hear what you have to say because it makes them feel insecure And
and then there's some friends that are like, I'm so sorry, I've been so busy, but I listen to that song and I can't get it out of my head. And when I stop being busy, because I tell them, like, do whatever you want with it. You know, like I told you, like, here's some things, here's some ideas. Do whatever you want with it, because it's sharing.
I'm working on something
And then
new, actually,
my
that
friend's
he gave
like,
me
I
some
can't get
samples
that song
for.
into my head, and when I'm done, I'm gonna do something cool with it. I'm like, please do. It's out there, and if it's flowing through you like that, it's almost like I feel like it's an obligation to share it, because it's too much, man. Here you go, do something with it. This is the idea. It's not a complete idea, but if you share it with people that have different ideas, it always most is like much better. It comes out much better than your just original little idea.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, like, I feel like certain pieces of art are just begging to like that might be the only reason they exist is for somebody to like take it and chop it up and repurpose it into something even better.
I mean, like, it's, I had a friend visit from Boston a while ago, and he has a young daughter, and he's like, she has it like an artist. She plays and she paints, and she's like, can I ask you a question though? Because you're my only friend that's an artist. What is being an artist all about? I've never been asked that before. I'm like, man, I guess all I could say was, when you feel something that you can portray, you can get out these emotions or something that you can't have words for, and do it in a painting or do it in music or something. And you're like, you can do that. You're harnessing, like, I don't know what you call it, universal, God-given ability, whatever it is, man. You get a special gift, and you can give it back to the planet and give it back to people. And that, you're an artist when, like, it's just like, it's flowing through me, man. Like,
Yeah,
we're
doing what we're here to do, man. What we're meant here to do, being using our creativity to create inspiration for others to figure out how to use their creativity.
That's like the heart of an artist, pretty much, and it doesn't come with its ups and downs, man, because you feel a lot. That's your job. You see a lot, you feel a lot, and you fucking take that and put it into something that will make yourself feel better or open people's minds up a little bit. Yours and other people, man. Like,
that is the purest explanation of the word alchemy that I've heard in a long time. Yeah. You're basically transforming energy, whatever you've felt that you've gone through, that you can transform into something that someone else can connect with.
It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. Yeah. You know what I mean, man?
Yes, sir.
But I mean, we made it past that, like, Hendrix and Joplin and all these other artists. The 27. I remember I worked at Club de Ville. 27. I made it past that, and I was touring at that point and shit. I'm like, I made it. I didn't off myself or do something stupid. Like all these other rock stars did and shit.
I didn't off myself.
Oh, I'm like, okay. I love it, and I'm gonna keep doing it forever. All right. Do you want me to show you the Murray X kind of?
Yes. Show us what you got, man. Right, do your thing, right. Murray X.
All right. So
let me set up a little mic here for the.
So this is it's silly because I have like a really simple app. So I'm just gonna make this up on the fly. So I'm just gonna press record, right? All right, simple. I fucked up a little bit. Doesn't matter, man. Like, that's the thing. Doesn't matter. So then you can loop it. Say 4. looped, save it, okay? Save song. Whatever, pod. Doesn't matter. So then, and then you press record again, and you'll hear it. Well, technology fucking isn't always your friend, so.
It's all part of the process,
I'll get
folks.
back to it, but it's, to be kind of poor and making these songs, you can use this thing and you have to go through a process. So you just do load song again, and it will. This is the whole thing about patience, It's all right. It's only been, 30 seconds? All right. So then you can hit record again. So then you have a whole new thing, and just save that because you don't want to lose it. And I just say podcast.
And you just build and build and build.
And then it gets a little wacky, which is your sound.
There's a certain rawness to this that I really enjoy. And there's a lot of people out there be like, oh, he's just recording stuff on his phone. Fuck you. This guy's an amazing genius artist. He like.
Oh, he ain't done yet. So then you get that, right? And you do this. And then you have this track still open. So then you can just go. It's a pleasure to be here on this podcast with these beautiful creatures. Oh yeah, I never want to change anything. You can say what you want, but I'm doing what I want. Everybody's cool around me. Right, so you do that, and then you loop that, and then you get a fucking thing. And then you loop that, and then you save it again, and then you have this thing that's never been done before. And you're like, holy fuck, that's fucked up. Yeah, maybe not for the masses, but it's like...
Well, you know what it harkens back to, man? It reminds me of Daniel Johnston and the stuff he was doing.
Yes.
Way back in the day. Just art for art's sake. Just the randomest of it all and just putting it out there and just doing something.
That I worked at Austin State Hospital for 4 years. And when I did my proper letter of resignation there was this one guy that was about to retire. And I was like, can we, because I had 2 weeks, say goodbye to everybody, the patients, the staff, and can we have a powwow? Because he worked at Austin State Hospital when Daniel Johnson was there and when Rocky Erickson was there before that. And I learned a lot about the rehabilitation process for mental health, and he told me everything that nobody fucking knows, It was a really special moment to work there. I'm glad I worked there. I'm glad I left because it gets heavy, man. That stuff. But
I'd actually spent some time on the other side, inside those places before. I know how crazy they can be.
Yeah.
No
People
pun
are like,
intended.
Hey, what's it like working there? I'm like, it's crazy. But you know, there's success stories in that, and there's a lot of tragedies. But you know, Daniel Johnston, um, he didn't write a lot of music. He didn't do a lot of music in there. That's when he was doing all that art. So that "Hi Ho Are You," all that stuff was probably written when he was going through rehab at Ash. And Rocky Erickson was a mess when he came in there. And they finally gave him a guitar. And then staff and patients would just gather around in there. And he helped a lot of people get through their problems by sitting there and playing his music. And that's, man, that's the beauty about music, and why I'll never let go of it.
Yeah, that's what I love about what you're doing, man. Because, like I said, your music, the solo stuff, totally reminds me of Daniel Johnston and what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like your overall presence and vibe. I don't think I've told you this before, but you give off like a Tom Waits kind of thing. It is.
What you talking about?
It's amazing. I love it.
No, there's something like when I started like Militant Babies, I sang and played drums, and I remember when we first started, and my bass player and I playing the song, and we both harmonized together for the first time. We're like, oh, we can do that? That's awesome. Like we were both learning at that point.
Oh my God, we're the
It was
Beatles.
like 2003, but you know, it was his first rock band, so it's like it was Eureka, you know, and that taught me a lot about singing. And then if you're not feeling good, you got this fucking raspy voice, man. You're like, all right, man, I'm just gonna, you know, just be like, man. Since you left, all the things that were lost have found their way home, and now sit like dead weight. And I know it was right, and I'm glad that it went down like this. But I miss, and I miss, and I miss. Like that. So you gotta use what you got at some point sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Thank you for that compliment though. That is
No,
a
I
huge
like.
compliment.
I mean it. I mean it. Like, you know, when we just started, kind of first started talking and hanging out, and really, actually, this might be the first time we actually hung out outside the bar.
Totally.
But
It is.
yeah, there's a reason why I just kind of felt like connected, and then you started sharing me your with.
Well, I didn't know
some of
that
your music.
you created music, and you didn't really know that I did.
No, we really did it.
So like that's just like, all right, man. We're automatically kindred souls in that way, you know, because there's not a lot of those that create, man, you know. And like, why do you still do it? I can't stop, man. Why would I stop? If I have that gift, like it's not interfering with my life,
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, it's all about doing what makes you happy.
Like if I'm like working at a job that hurts me, I would leave anyway. But I definitely don't want anything that's going to break me down, so I can't play music or do photography or, you know, be able to get into my elder years and be able to walk around and enjoy life. And music will always be there, and it's never-ending, beautiful learning process. You can't master anything.
I can't.
At one point, like you can master like these classical things, but you're gonna get on a guitar and do a noise improv rock fucking show? No. So you're not gonna master the whole thing of music. That's what's amazing about it.
I can't think of a better way to wrap things up than that.
Let me tell you one last thing. So before my dad died, he was talking about the creative process, and when you're in the rat race and you're going around the rabbit rail legs every day, same thing, right? And then you get into creative mind process. This starts going like this, a little bigger, and then you're like, what was I even stressed out about at all? You know, And it's a beautiful to get your mind out of that rabbit wheel, hamster wheel kind of scenario, the creative process. No matter what you do, art, like painting, like anything, music, writing, it gets you out of that rat race, hamster wheel mindset, which will stress you out and kill you eventually. That's all. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. No, thank you for coming on, man. I'm glad you came over and were able to share with all the people watching that. If you're out there,
Nobody's told you today, you're a badass.
Yeah, you are a badass.
Never forget.
Get creative. I don't care with how. It doesn't have to be music. Anything. Figure out your joy. Pursue it. Murray X, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank
you guys.
Thank
guys
you.
rock.
Yeah.
Cheers. Thank you. Let's smoke a joint.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, now that we have everything put together, I've got the moss pole set up with the Monstera. You see he's all nice and repotted. I got a nice little ceramic pot for him. Decorative. This plant is going to thrive in my apartment. I can't wait to see how big the leaves get. But I digress. Plants, nature, connection, all of these things, spiritual growth can mirror nature. And one of the intentions I set for myself when growing these plants is I wanted my own growth to mirror theirs. So by connecting myself to the spirit of plants and the nature of how they grow and like doing my research, it's almost as if I'm not only helping to let these things that are completely alive and a part of me to thrive and grow and prosper, but also to allow for my own growth to happen as a result of the cultivation process and learning how to propagate and really take the time to calm myself and allow my energy to sort of reflect the plants and vice versa. And I highly recommend, if you don't have anything in your apartment that's green or your house or anything like that, just start with something simple. Buy like a basic pothos hanging plant that you can put near a window and water every once in a while, and do a little bit of research on what that plant likes. What does it thrive on? What kind of environment can you create for something that is a living thing that you can quite literally infuse your energy into and have that be as much a part of you as you are it? It's very calming. Stress levels go down. Cortisol goes down. The air gets a little bit cleaner. And yes, I have seen those studies in NASA that claims that, the effect of the air purification of plants is actually pretty minimal, but they don't talk about microbes. Microbes, you can have, microbes are like the little microorganisms in the air that cause sickness and fungal growth on walls and things like that. There has been studies that show that like just having a few plants around the house can reduce microbes in the air up to 50%. And that's just was having like 3 or 4. I have clearly more than that. I know you can't see in the video, but this is just one of many that I've purchased over the past few months. And already I can tell the difference. My air feels so much easier to breathe. I can sleep better at night. These are all just benefits that come with connecting with plants and having something around you that literally breathes what you're exhaling and turns it into what you're inhaling, and in a way that's conducive to bettering your health. And when you see, like in the first section of the video, how connected everything is through mycelium on the floor, connecting all the different signals and plants talking to each other. You can even hear this in examples. I'll try and see if I can put a video here real quick. We'll cut right here. Boom. You see, there are ways that we can hear the plants talk by connecting electrodes to them, and people have made musical devices that allows for notes to be played based off of the language that is being communicated through fungus and plants. And I think that's very interesting scientific proof that these things are sentient and alive, and they live and they breathe and they talk to each other and they take care of each other. This is like the primordial example of community taking care of itself and putting the community first versus the individual. And one thing that I found interesting, actually, it just sort of like popped up in my head. When you look at the word planet and you take away the E, it just becomes plant. But what does the E stand for? The E is ego. So if you take away the ego out of the world, all you're left with is plant. And that's what we are. We're a living, breathing organism that's all connected together with different ways, shapes, forms, energies that we just can't see. We literally cannot see because, there's miles and miles and miles of connections underneath our feet that we're not even aware of. And inside, with the electrons and neurons that connect our brain patterns and form ideas and thoughts and patterns in ourselves that can also be changed. There's so many ways we can draw these connections and form these patterns around how everything works and how everything flows in with each other and together. Oneness, wholeness. And if more people recognized these patterns and these abilities to like draw connect the conclusions from all the connections and everything, if more of us like actually really saw the world for what it is, one entity, one whole entity, breathing, living, pulsing, then there wouldn't be any need for me to be angry at somebody for such and such because he stepped on my brand new shoes that I bought yesterday, or to hold a grudge against somebody else because they're messing with some kind of financial situation that I'm involved in. All of that would just dissolve because it doesn't matter. None of it matters when you're thinking about how everything is interconnected and how everything happens because it's meant to happen, and because you may be losing something, but because you're letting that go, you can bring something else in to replace that energy that's more fitting to who you are now versus who you were a year ago. And plants, to me, have always been sort of a reminder of that growth process. there's a lot of time and energy you have to take into researching who the plant is and understanding what it needs to thrive and cultivating that environment for it to grow and become something of a marvel to look at and reminder of the connection that we all share. So that's going to be all for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I know the first part was a little all over the place. I find it difficult to talk while I'm performing tasks, so to speak, which is why I decided to finish it before we finish the second part of this episode. Let me know if you like episodes like this. We'll do a little bit more where it's just one of us sort of talking about life and, what's going on. So without anything else, I guess I'll leave it at that. And we'll sign off by saying, I am one, you are two. Goodbye.